With 2023 now in the books, I think it is safe to say that Hollywood had a disaster of a year, going from controversies to flops to strikes and more flops. And it's not looking like 2024 will be their turnaround year either based on their recent announcements and news. And while there were some really good and successful movies and shows last year, only one of those had some woke message to share hidden behind a very clever marketing strategy. And while so many entertainment companies have pandered to the message, sacrificing quality for ideology, that they don't even believe themselves, the anime industry has continuously delivered great content that fans love. And even though Hollywood is untouched financially speaking, anime has been steadily surpassing Hollywood in both popularity and quality, and is more apparent now than ever before. Welcome to the Awoken, a series dedicated to expose how companies are trying to brainwash its consumers by pushing an agenda and villainizing core traditional values, as well as providing you examples of why it is such a failure. In this first installment, I'll show you 4 reasons as to why the anime industry has already beaten Hollywood in quality. In order for an entertainment company to sell a product, it requires an audience, a group of people that finds value in whatever content you're providing, as well as establishing a connection to either the brand's or product's values. What happens then when already established franchises with a loyal audience decide to completely shift their focus into a totally new market without any real plan or strategy? Well,
the Marvel's opening weekend was the worst debut in MCU history. And for the unfortunate few who actually watched this, you understand why.
The most beautiful daughter in the world.
2023 really was a year of discontent in the world of Hollywood, marked by months of strike action that blighted the summer movie season, and a series of high-profile failures and flops that got so bad that they even spawned a new term, the Flopbuster.
it's been very well documented how big IPs like Star Wars, all the MCU, Indiana Jones, The Witcher and more have all switched focus into a female market, where their selling point is women can do it all and men are stupid and useless. The problem with this is that all these IPs are male predominant. Multiple statistics show that men are the main audience. Take a look at Marvel, for example. In 2019, 50% of its fans were men, while 39% were women. Star Wars fans are around 60% men and 40% women. The Witcher 3 Instagram account has 85% of its followers as men. I mean, I can go on and on. The point is that you have IPs that are more liked by men. That doesn't mean that women can't enjoy them, it's just that the topics and concepts used on these IPs are more liked by men. Now, it doesn't take a genius to understand that targeting less than half of your audience while dismantling the rest is not a smart move. And what makes it worse is that it doesn't work like that, since that 30 or 40% of women liked the original content that men liked too. But when you switch to this female empowerment era, what are the numbers? What type of audience are they expecting? There are no stats available to the public to determine if this is even a smart move. These studios are taking massive risks, and they're finally starting to pay the price. Now, anime on the other hand embraces their audience, no matter how weird it may be. Trust me, I've seen things. They're all in for providing content for both niche and mainstream audiences. Everything is good as long as you know who you're selling it to. You want wholesome love stories? You got it. An action-filled series with a bunch of badass characters and abilities? Sure. Kid-friendly anime? Of course. While some content may not be for you, clearly, it won't forcefully exclude you. You're always welcome. The best example is a very new anime called Gushing Over Magical Girls, and trust me, the title doesn't give it full justice. If this was on Hollywood or Netflix, it would have been immediately cancelled. The best way to describe it is a comedic and erotic version of Madoka Magica. It's the type of anime you would recommend to your friend with the weird fetishes. Yet it works because the studio behind it knows its audience and fully embraces it. Have you noticed that there hasn't been a single new franchise that's adopted the woke mentality? All of the current series and movies pandering to the message were at one point highly respected IPs, and companies have used their names to simplify their marketing strategy. It makes sense that if writers and producers will come up with their own original stories, no one would really care and they will end up as flops. I mean, if well-known franchises are flopping, imagine new ones. A reason why you don't see any new content from mainstream studios is because they don't have the people to do it. Look at Disney, for example. Being infested with activists and gender studies people that have nothing to do with the entertainment industry other than criticizing it.
Led by leftist activists, Disney decided to step out of its role as just a great family entertainment company that we all love and into the role of a radical political advocate. And it's not just moms and dads, like you just heard from fighting back, but the employees of Disney as well.
Yeah, essentially, this is the worst Disney animated film in the company's history. And I'm referring specifically to the actual animation of this. It felt cheap. It felt like that the veteran animators of the past have been fired, or it's like it doesn't feel like a Walt Disney animated feature. Images are bland. The action is bland, and you're going to see that there's a lot of things they did in this movie to hide the fact that the people who animated this don't know how to animate animated features or animate at all.
Something similar with the AAA titles happens in Hollywood, that their main marketing strategy revolves around the people creating the product, not the product itself. The recent Star Wars news fits perfectly into this. Take a look at this clip.
Only female director to have won 2 Academy Awards by the age of 37. She's also the first woman and the first person of color to direct a Star Wars film. It's set to be released in 2026. You can say that the force is strong with this one. Here's Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy.
You know, I'm very thrilled about the project because I think what we are about to create is something very special. And we're in 2024 now, and I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
A common question you'll see through this series is, why? Why does the fact that a woman is directing a Star Wars movie matter? And more importantly, why in this case Sharmeen is the best fit for a Star Wars movie? Multiple reports showcase how Disney and all the studios around it hire people based on their beliefs or race, sidelining skills, passion, or any talent whatsoever. Plus the fact that the actual talented people have left the studios, and it kinda makes sense how budgets are overblown while providing terrible films and series. Most likely they have to go through a ton of reshoots and script changes because they don't even know what they're doing. Jujutsu Kaisen author started working in the manga industry in 2014. The man clearly has a passion, plus his years of experience have made him an incredible author. The anime was made by MAPPA, a powerhouse in animation right now, and sure, it has a lot of controversies, but the skill, experience, and talent is over the top in that company. Just look at their latest work in Jujutsu Kaisen second season. They completely over-delivered while having a terrible schedule and working conditions. The reason why One Piece has stayed relevant for over 25 years is because of the incredible storytelling by Eiichiro Oda, who started his career when he was 17 and has just gotten better. The point is that in order to create a good story, you need a talented writer, filled with passion and years of experience. Same thing goes for animation. You need to have proper planning and budget allocations. It shouldn't matter if you're a man, a woman, or an alien, as long as you have the proper skills, experience, and passion for the project, you should have a chance to work on it as long as you're good enough. But that doesn't apply to Hollywood. Whenever an anime comes out, it has one goal: to tell the exact same story from the source manga, but animated. The studios will then decide if they want to go a step further and complement the story with additional scenes, extending fights, adding better landscapes, or giving more detail to certain characters. Each studio will apply their own touch. The only thing to respect is the source material. The story should not be changed, only complemented. The reason why anime exists is because it has an established audience from the manga, Animating it will extend the reach of such series. Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, and Chainsaw Man are just recent examples of already popular mangas that gain way more traction by releasing its anime. This though makes too much sense for Hollywood, so of course what they do is the exact opposite. They purposely change most of its source material in order to apply it to the so-called modern audiences. They gender swap characters, introduce completely new ones that add nothing to the story, and purposely neglect the main characters that people fell in love with. So now we have activists with no experience in series or movie production, adapting stories without even diving into the source material, and sometimes even hating it, and then targeting the smaller audience. I honestly don't understand how they managed to make a sense of any of this. Look at the disasters that are Robin Hood, the last season of The Witcher on Netflix, Star Wars The Last Jedi. I mean, I can go forever here, but the point is that these are all series with tons of source material, with established worlds and rules that were completely thrown to the trash because apparently activists know more about the source material than its own creator. And you know what the biggest problem with this is? Is that whatever modern stories they're putting out are just plain terrible. I mean, you have people theorizing that mainstream movies are being written by AI. That's how bad it's gotten. People are not hating on these movies and series because of their message, but for the execution. Their lazy and convenient writing without any depth or logic behind it. No real structure to the stories. Add that to terrible working conditions for the CGI departments, plus the other factors we've mentioned, and honestly, it's kinda impressive they're even able to produce something. Everything now in Hollywood has to be about race, gender, and so on. If you don't comply with the LGBTQ plus minus X divided root square, you hate them and are homophobic or transphobic. If you don't like shows where they take a white male character and transform him into a black woman, it is because you hate women and are racist. Or at least that's what Hollywood says. You're seeing this trend now of big, independent, strong female empowerment. Characters that have no flaws and can do it all without struggle. And that is completely boring. I actually think that it's pretty cool to have female leads. But hey, might be a hot take here, but women are different from men. They provide different skills and personalities that we do not. That allows us to complement each other. But when you take a male stereotype character and convert it into a chick that's lame and gay, not many people will sympathize with it. And this is the point where the anime industry is still catching up. Recently you're seeing more and more female leads into mainstream anime, and that is great. Look at Frieren, for example. Great quality and story that people love. No one is hating on it because it stars a female character, because the story and the product overall are great. Audiences are not mad because of female leads, but from trash stories that villainize men or certain races in general. Look at Echo from Marvel, a show where the main selling point is that it stars a deaf woman. And that's why you should care about it, apparently. And while I think it's great to give opportunities for deaf people, blind people, everyone honestly, that should be an extra. The main focus should be the story, the villain, the arc, something that gives value to the audience. Last year served as a boiling point for audiences and content creators. Big franchises that used to bring millions are now flopping harder than ever because of the mentioned reasons and so much more. And it's great that fans have stood up for the content they love and ultimately don't want to see their favorite characters that they grew up with being destroyed with these out-of-touch corporates. The message is clear. Please leave politics out of our entertainment. No one would have a problem with the woke culture if it wasn't purposely trying to destroy what regular people like us consume, villainizing us, thinking that they know better because they felt like it, or because a couple of weirdos agreed with them. Thankfully, Japan and the anime industry has rejected this mindset and is focused on delivering content that fans want. And while the anime industry is not perfect by any means, at least they keep politics out of the way.